Hello to everyone from everywhere online. Please let me express again my pleasure to share some of my ideas about European sport law. The general theme for today's conversation is European sport law. I insist that learning different approaches to sport regulation will help you get the right skills to succeed and lead change in ever more connected world. I want my students and subscribers to be globally aware, skilled and prepared for the future changes, especially in the sphere of international sports system. So now we'll pass through some specific points of my course, which cover the European approach, supervising sport in different levels, from ideas of integration, physical activity and sport, to the system of its instruments and bodies. The event will that influenced me to do this online review has two major points. 70th anniversary of UEFA. Exact date is June 50, today. And Euro 2024 in Germany started yesterday. Both are closely connected to the European supervision of sport. So let's begin. And now just several questions, several items. UEFA, the Union of European Football Associations, is one of 6 continental bodies of governance in association football. It governs football, futsal, and beach football in Europe and the transcontinental countries of Turkey, Azerbaijan, Georgia, Kazakhstan, as well as the West Asian countries of Cyprus, Armenia, and Israel. UEFA consists of the national football associations of Europe and runs national and club competitions including the UEFA European Championship, UEFA Nations League, UEFA Champions League, UEFA Europa League, UEFA Europa Conference League, and UEFA Super Cup, and also controls the prize money, regulations, as well as media rights to those competitions. So, history of UEFA in brief. I can mention 7 stages. The very first is 1950s. The story of UEFA began in the early 1950s as a quest by national governing bodies across the continent. Their goal to unite the European game in a spirit of solidarity to develop the game on and off the field. In 1953, world football body FIFA opened the door for UEFA's foundation by giving the green light for the creation of continental football confederations. On June 15, 1954, so exactly 20 years ago, Europeans associations met in Basel, Switzerland, to rubber stamp the formation of a pan-European football body, kicking off the construction of a football in Europe. The second stage, 1960s. UEFA headquarters moved from Paris to the Swiss Bern. UEFA operations expanded in incorporate more expert committees addressing key football topics, while UEFA started first courses for coaches and referees. The third step, 1970s. Ajax and Bayern Munich dominated UEFA club competitions for the first half of the decade, both enjoying 3 successive European Champions Clubs Cup triumphs. Ajax with their swashbuckling total football, and Bayern with a potent mixture of power and skill. So it wasn't a surprise that UEFA turned to be the center of the most popular sport in the continent. The fourth stage, 1980s. The Azel Stadium disaster and some other tragedies during European official football matches were triggers to start legal protection of sport and may Council of Europe, in collaboration with UEFA, adopt several binding instruments and lex sportiva acts on sport. The fifth stage, 1990s, a period marked by explosive growth in TV coverage and rights, sponsorship, and communication that together transformed the game into a truly global phenomenon. UEFA President Leonard Johansson said, "Over the years, UEFA has become the focal point of the European game." The sixth stage, millennium. With the dawn of a new millennium, UEFA recognized the need to extend the scope of its partnership model to cover the entire European football community. The 2004 European Championship in Portugal heralded the launch of our hat-trick UEFA hat-trick development program, which disturbed and approximately two-thirds of UEFA Men's Euro revenue back into the game through projects run by member associations. Renewed every 4 years, the program has evolved into one of the largest solidarity and development initiatives in sport. The decade also saw UEFA strengthen its role as guardian of the game by setting new standards for good football governance. First, with the approval of UEFA pioneering club licensing system, a set of requirements that clubs must meet to be eligible to participate in UEFA competitions. Then, with the introduction of financial fair play measures to stabilize clubs' financial management. And the seventh stage, 2010s, UEFA's role in uniting the wider European football community brought progress on a number of topics essential to the long-term health of the game. Three major points: club licenses, financial fair play, cooperation with European political organizations. Under the new president's leadership, actual president Alexander Ceferin, UEFA doubled down on its commitment to leveraging football's power for good. UEFA Social Fair Play initiative stood up to racism and discrimination in the game, while in 2015 was established the UEFA Foundation for Children, an independent charitable organization dedicated to improving the lives of vulnerable children around the world through sport. UEFA also increased the amount of revenue reinvested in developing the game, both through the above-mentioned hat-trick development program and the assist program created in 2017 to share European football's know-how and expertise with UEFA 5 sister confederations. So the second item to describe, I can name it documents. Documents which include regulations, manuals, guidelines, annual reports. But above all this, I want to focus on UEFA strategy, United for Success. The actual strategy will guide UEFA from 2024 to 2030, driving the game forward and making it accessible to everybody. By the way, 2030 is the unique date for UN Sustainable Development, so it's worth mentioning. And again, I can figure 7 strategic priorities of United for Success. Each reflects current trends in European football. First, be at the core of society, to be a unifying force across European football, contributing to a more open and inclusive society. Second, ensure opportunities to all, from grassroots to elite, a thriving football ecosystem at every level across Europe, with the opportunity for everybody to participate. Third, strengthen the game's fundamentals to have a united European football ecosystem through a system of open, competitive, and sustainable competitions. Four, work together to the highest governance standards, an inclusive culture where best practices are shared to achieve common goals and every voice of the football family is listened to. Fifth, organize world-class competitions, staging the most followed sporting events in the world, delivering sporting excellence for all supporters, and maximizing revenues for investment back into the game. Sixth, maximize the potential of women's football, inspiring more girls and women to play and follow football across Europe, driving more professional opportunities, creating more pathways, and delivering more compelling and financially sustainable competitions. And seventh, pursue a culture of sustainability, reduce the impact of football on the environment, leveraging its power to raise awareness and catalyze action. By the way, we can find from the UEFA official website some other documents, but for me, strategy united for success is the point of no return. The third item, projects. Projects of UEFA. For me, projects are the face of any international organization. So we can focus on the following UEFA projects. I don't think it's a way of creating European football pyramid or something like this, but still, I want you to pay attention to UEFA hat trick. I mentioned it about several minutes ago. UEFA assist, UEFA grow, UEFA academy, UEFA intelligence center, and UEFA innovation hub. Well, they say from grassroots and youth players to women's football and referees, UEFA invests in developing every aspect of the European game. I think the most exciting project is UEFA Academy, because we find some collaboration of theory and practice in this very project. So I invite everyone to the official website of UEFA Academy. Then we're gonna say several words about rules for the tournament started yesterday, the UEFA Euro 2024 final round. I think we can, so to say, mention two aspects of rules. First, regulation of this tournament, and second is arbitration rules. So I want to pay special focus on these two rules. So the first will be, so to say, the general instrument, especially of the UEFA European Football Championship. Actually, it has 14 chapters and some annexes, including pitch organization and so on. So I'll focus on several points. For example, some general provisions about maybe anti-doping, So the most exciting topics. So anti-doping. Doping is forbidden. It is punishable offense. In case of anti-doping rule violations, UEFA will instigate disciplinary proceedings against the perpetrators and take the appropriate disciplinary measures in accordance with the UEFA disciplinary regulations and UEFA anti-doping regulations. This may include the imposition of provisional measures. UEFA may test any player at any time. That's the focus. UEFA may test any player at any time. So we'll see. Then I think fair play is worth mentioning. All UEFA competition matches must be played in accordance with the principle of fair play as defined in the UEFA statutes. Fair play assessments are conducted to all matches in the competition in accordance with the UEFA fair play regulations in order to establish association fair play rankings at the end of each season. Well, one of the most exciting intellectual property rights. I think the tradition of this very topic came from International Olympic Committee and Nairobi Treaty. So UEFA is the exclusive owner of all intellectual property rights of the competition, including any current or future rights in all types of audio and visual material of the competitions, names, logos, visual identities, brands, music, mascots, medals, plaques, commemorative items, trophies, and certain key elements of the official match ball design. Any use of the aforementioned rights, any imitation or variation thereof of any other reference to the competition, such as by associating the name of an association with a date of match, requires the prior written approval of UEFA and must comply with any conditions imposed by UEFA. All rights to the fixture list and match schedules, as well as any data and statistics, including databases in which such data is stored, in relation to the matches of any player's participation in the competition are the sole and exclusive property of UEFA. No tickets or accreditation used by anyone in order to gain access to a venue for the purposes of collecting or gathering such data and such activities are expressly prohibited. Foregoing prohibition doesn't apply to the participating associations subject to any and all such data collected being used solely for the purposes of instructing their team, players, and officials, and expressly including and other exploitations or use whatsoever. So the most exciting, most serious, most focussal and actual topic, intellectual property rights. Then we can to some other chapters. For example, uh, media media matters. Uh, well, uh, teams must cooperate to the fullest extent possible with the access and interview requests from UEFA media platforms before, during, and after the competition. Each team must provide UEFA with access to all players in their squad, the head coach, and the assistant coach for squad access day in order to gather the following content for host broadcaster operations and UEFA digital platform. A. A green screen filming sessions with all players, the head coach, and the assistant coach. B. A photography session at 2 stations with all players, the head coach, and the assistant coach. C. A digital or slash corporate content sessions with 10 players and the head coach. And D, and interview sessions with 2 players and the head coach. UEFA and the association will agree in advance on the day, time, and location of the squad access day and on which players will be made available. Each team's squad access day will take place no later than 4 days before the team's first match in the final tournament unless alternative arrangements are agreed by the team and UEFA. As a selected player becomes unable to participate at any of the squad access day, the association must inform UEFA as soon as reasonably possible and ensure that another player is made available as a replacement or another suitable alternative is provided that is acceptable to UEFA, and so on. So that was the example of the most wanted regulators during UEFA tournament, final round, UEFA Euro 2024. And the second example is arbitration rules for the UEFA Euro 2024 final round. They include, let me just figure 24 rules, and I can underline some of them. For example, application of the rules and jurisdiction of CAS, Court of Arbitration for Sport. It's possible, as far as I remember, from 1996, it's possible to create ad hoc divisions of CAS. The very first division was Atlanta Olympiad. So, for the period of the Euro 2024 final round, the International Council of Arbitration for Sport shall establish an ad hoc division of the CAS, the function of which is to provide for the resolution by arbitration of the disputes covered by Article 1 by means of panels set up in accordance with the present rules. The ad hoc division consists of arbitrators appealing on a special list, a president, and a court officer. Well, the presidency, then court office, by the way, in Lausanne, Switzerland. Then language, traditionally English or French. Then some communications, notifications. It's just all the same since 1996. Application rule and time limit. By the way. It's also optional. Well, in practice, 24 hours to settle all the dispute. Then formation of the panel, Article 12. This is also traditional, and maybe one more article about some procedure. So procedure before the panel, Article 16. It has ABCDE 5, I guess five points. So A, defense of lack of jurisdiction, and if defense of lack of jurisdiction of the panel must be raised at the start of the proceedings or at the latest at the start of the hearing. B. Procedure. The panel organizes the procedure as it considers appropriate while taking into account the specific needs and circumstances of the case, the interests of the parties, in particular the right to be heard, and the particular constraints of speed and efficiency specific to the present ad hoc procedure. The panel shall have full control over the evidentiary proceedings. C. Hearing, except where it considers another form of procedure more appropriate, the panel shall summon the parties to a hearing on very short notice immediately upon receipt of the application. It shall append a copy of the application to the summons to appear addressed to the respondent. Unless the panel decides otherwise, the hearing shall be held by video conference or by telephone conference. At the hearing, the panel shall hear the parties and take all appropriate action with respect to evidence. The parties shall introduce at the hearing all the evidence they intend to adduce and produce the witnesses shall be heard immediately. If it considers itself to be sufficiently well informed, the panel may decide not to hold a hearing and to render an award immediately. D. Rule. Other evidential measures. If a party requests an opportunity to introduce additional evidence which for legitimate reasons it was not able to produce at the hearing, the panel may permit such introduction to the extent necessary to the resolution of the dispute. The panel may at any time take any appropriate action which respect the evidence. In particular, it may appoint an expert and order the production of documents, information, or any other evidence. It may also, in its discretion, decide whether to admit or exclude evidence affirmed by the parties and access the weight of evidence. The panel shall inform the parties accordingly. And E, the final point, failure to appear. If any party fails to appear at the hearing or to comply with injunctions, summonses, or other communications issued by the panel may nevertheless proceed. Well, I think the time limit for 8 hours. I mean the whole procedure, including the lodging of the application. Well, and maybe that's it. Maybe that's it for the rules for the so to say general informational documents, specific instruments during the UEFA Euro 2024. Well, it seems to me I mentioned plenty of points. Some you did know, but some you might not. So subscribe to the channel. Follow me on Instagram and Telegram. Well, I'll take a look at the chat. No questions. Well, then thank you for your attention. Have a nice weekend. Bye-bye.